Welcome back, viewers. Today we will be testing the average sentiment oscillator.
But before we do, if you have not watched my first video and the videos after that, you need to go do that right now. Here at the Academy of Forex, we are building the best trading system possible as a team, and as a team, we will all profit from it when we are done. You can find a link to the first video down in the description below. You can also find a link to our Discord server, so that way we can all discuss testing indicators and building our trading system. And lastly, you can find a link below to TradingView. If you sign up for a paid account, you will save a little bit of money using the link below.
Alright, as I said, today we will be testing the average sentiment oscillator. But before we do, I wanted to put the indicator scoreboard up for everyone to see. So to date, we have tested 119 indicators. And out of those 119 indicators, 48 of them have been winners, which means that they have met or exceeded the 60% win-loss ratio threshold that we have set for them. The best ones so far were able to achieve a 100% win rate. Now you need to go back and watch those videos to understand how they were able to achieve that. But as we are working on building the best trading system possible, you could take any one of those 48 indicators and get out there and start potentially profitably trading the markets with them now. So go back and watch those videos, make a list of those indicators, and get out there and see what you can do with them. But stick with us here as we work on maximizing your trading profits. All right, so today's indicator is the average sentiment oscillator. It's a pretty easy setup, not a whole lot to it. We got two lines and they cross. So a two-line cross indicator is what we have. This is a TradingView member created indicator. And so of course you can find the link to it below down in the description. Now in the last video, I announced that I had created a new channel on our Discord server. So Discord is a completely free real-time chat app slash website that we have set up for here on the channel for members, for you viewers out there to join and take part in real-time discussions about trading and indicators and strategies and so on. And recently I created a new channel on the Discord server which is specifically for indicator creation. And so we have a few of the Discord members who play around with coding indicators, and they are a part of that channel as well. And so if you are struggling with needing an indicator coded, like say you have a good idea about an indicator for here on TradingView that you want coded, or say that you are a strictly MT platform user and you see an indicator that you really like here on TradingView that you want to be coded for MT4, then what I have done is I have found a list of some freelancers who will also code different platforms, indicators for different platforms. And so you can get on the channel, the Discord server channel for indicator creation, and you can ask the members that are there if they have the ability to code the indicator you're looking for. But if they do not have that ability, then like I said, you can contact any one of the freelancers that I have linked to on that channel. So you go to that channel, and I have pinned some links to the freelancers that you can contact, and they can either there's one for PineScript, which is trading view code, and then there is one for coding indicators for the MT4 MT platform in general. And so you can contact them for a real reasonable price, and they can code out an indicator for you. So if you're struggling and, like I said, you're seeing indicators here that you really like that we are testing, but you only use the MT platform, then you can contact those freelance coders and you can have them code out the indicator for you that will be usable on the MT platforms. So that should get us a long way to making sure that the majority of everybody who's here viewing the videos have the ability to access the same indicators from one platform to another. So like I said, check that out. Discord, absolutely free. There's a link down below in the description to our Discord server. You just click on it, create an account, super easy. It doesn't cost you anything. And we have all kinds of discussions on trading and yeah, just tons of information on there in real time. So highly recommend that you join that. All right, so this indicator, like I said, is a 2-line indicator. Pretty easy setup here. It's a 2-line cross. We're looking for the line that crosses up above. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to go in like I normally do, and I'm going to make a few color changes here. Let's see. Yep. All right. So when the green line crosses up above, that is a signal to go long. When the red line crosses up above, that is a signal to go short. And that is how we will be testing it today. So pretty simple setup. All right, let's get on with the testing process here. All right, so we got our first signal. Let me double check. Was that? Dun, dun, dun. Let's see. 29th. Yes, so we got a short signal right here. That was the first signal we got. Unfortunately, it turned around and immediately jumped up and stopped us out, so not a great signal. Then we picked up a long signal right here. We need to play it out a little bit further to see what exactly price action is going to do for us here. Unfortunately, it turned around and reversed on us. So again, not a great signal there. We get a cross right here. Gonna have to play it out a little bit more to see where it's gonna go. It does appear to be running into a relatively significant line of support and resistance here, so that could cause it a lot of issues as far as continuing to go down. But we'll see what happens. Play it forward here. Yeah, as I suspected, came down, bounced over the support line here, and then immediately rejected it and turned around and shot back upwards. So unfortunately, that is another, oops, wrong one. Get on the right line here. There we go. So unfortunately, that is another loss that we have experienced there. So far this indicator is not doing that great. There we go. So we picked up a long signal right there. Let's see. So it's this one here. And it appears as though, yep, it was finally able to get us to a take profit. All right, playing along here. Let's see. Looks like we got a pretty significant area of support and resistance right up in here, right where this price action has bounced and is now starting to reject that area. Let's see what happens here. So it tried to reject it, then we get this really big candle jumping up there, breaking above that area just slightly. Of course, this is a zone, so might not have broken completely up yet. We'll see. Yep, there it goes. Finally took off. At this point, it has made a significant move upwards. More than likely, it is starting to exhaust itself in this movement. We've had 1, 2, 3 solid moves take place here. A little bit of relief here on the strong pullback, but once it broke up there, it's now running into this area, which historically has been an area of support and resistance as well. Considering how it's nearing the end of a really big move, like I said, it is most likely starting to exhaust itself. Let's see what happens. There we go. So it broke up above it just a little bit there and then had this really strong pullback. Now it is starting to bounce a little bit here back up to that zone. We have picked up a short signal. Looks like it is trying to reject this area, and so very likely could now bounce off this area and then continue in a downward trajectory here, at least for a little while. And it did, and it gave us another take profit trade, so not too bad. And you see it came down and it bounced right off this zone here. Now that's not a really strong move that took place there, and so I don't have a lot of conviction in it being able to really just shoot straight up and out of here. I mean, it very well could, but yeah, it hasn't had a lot of downward movement yet. Not enough to really give it a lot of momentum. And so most likely what we see is that it's going to sit and kind of chop around in this area for a little bit before it decides to pick a direction and possibly is going to try to push its way downward a little bit more first. But at least, like I said, I have a feeling it's going to sit here and chop around in this area for a moment. Let's see what happens. Alright, so let's see, we picked up a signal right here. Let's see. Yep, a long signal right there. And unfortunately, it did not get us to take profits. So that would have stopped us out. And like I said, it had a decent pullback, but wasn't able to really take off. It then turned around and started to push its way back down a little bit, just kind of chopping around in this area. Let's see, but we picked up a short signal right here, and I don't think, let's see, don't think we got to 60% on that one. Nope, we sure didn't. So that one, again, would have been a losing trade. Price action is a little unstable at this point. It's not really picking a clear defined direction that it wants to go in. And so this is some of the worst times to try to really get an idea of what price action is doing, because we don't really know. It hasn't exhausted itself on a heavy move, and so you see it keeps breaking down below support zones, but then turns around and immediately jumps back up above. Now it did jump up here, come down, touch this line, seems to be trying to reject it a little bit, so it's possible it could start to just kind of chop around in here a little bit more as well, and then try to make its way back up. But yeah, it's super uncertain at this moment, not really clear, because the last few weeks here haven't really produced a decent trend to kind of gauge what's going to happen off of. There we go. So it finally made a decent push down, and that's what you want to see, is a really strong push in one direction, because then you know once it's been pushing for a while that more than likely it is starting to lose its momentum. And as it's losing its momentum at the bottom of these strong pushes, especially at an area of support and resistance, there's a pretty good chance that it's either gonna sit and bounce along this area, or it's going to turn around and reverse course for at least a little bit. And so let's see what it does here. Yeah, see, so often when it hits areas like this, it'll sit and just kind of chop along. Not really certain where it wants to go. You have a tug of war of buyers and sellers battling back and forth, trying to figure out, who's going to move it in what direction. Let's see here. So we picked up a buy signal here. That got us to a take profit. Barely, but it did. And then this one here, let's see if it got us. Nope, it barely missed that one. Then we picked up a long here on this one. That one finally gave us some decent momentum and got us to take profit. So not too bad on that one. And then there you have it. Like I said, it came down, bounced along this area, and is now starting to reverse course here and send itself upwards with some decent momentum. Now again, it's really uncertain what price action is wanting to do here. It really is just kind of chopping along. It hasn't made a real big push yet, and so to say that it's going to reject and start to push downward really hard is really just speculation at this point. We don't have a lot of confirmation. Now it does seem like it has come up and is almost double topping in this area, possibly. I mean, you can see that it also kind of lines up with these areas back here that it's bounced off of multiple times. And then we could draw a line there as well, because it's come down at least here recently and bounced in these areas quite a few times. Now the problem is, when that starts to happen, when you end up with all these lines, you really do start to get in scenarios to where you have so many lines, you can't really tell what price action is going to do. And so let's watch it here a little bit, see if it throws a signal, see if it makes that last little jump up. Yep, there it goes. That's what I was That's what I was waiting for. Now when it gets up here, there is definitely a question of what is it going to do. As you see, it has come up and bounced off that area, come down, then come back up, bounced off that area again. Well, at least come up to that area. And so now the question is, what is it going to do when it gets to this area? Of course, this is not a good trading spot because we've had a lot of push upwards here. Even if it does break above this resistance line here, the ceiling line, it is very possible that it could break up above for a moment and then turn around and reject this area, because we are at the last tail end of a really reasonable move. It's not a great move, but it definitely has moved. And so let's see what it does. Oh, there we go. It made the break and is now rejecting that area. Yeah. So it broke up a reasonable amount. I mean, that was definitely a decent move upwards there. And so if you would have, set a trade at the break of this ceiling right here, breakout trade, then yeah, you would have probably gotten to take profit there for sure. Say right here to there, yep, you'd have gotten to take profit. But again, wasn't great. It wasn't great because it came up, lost its momentum here at the top, and as I suspected, came back crashing down into this area. Let's see here, we got a short signal right here, and we got to take profit on that one. So not too horrible. Let's play it forward here a little bit more and see what it's going to do. See if it can commit to a direction here, or if it's just going to bounce around for a moment. Oh, and it took off there. Let's see, so it threw a long signal right here, but unfortunately would have stopped us out. Before it turned around and shot right back up out of there. That's a lot of buying going on in that area. So now at this point, it has made a lot of movement upwards, and you can see up here the way it's chopping along, how we get a green, red, green, red, green, red. It's definitely a sign that it's losing some momentum in that area. And of course, we'd want to mark off this area now because it's become a significant zone area because of the recent price action that bounced off of it. Historically, yeah, it looks like it's had its fair share. And then looky there, if we scroll back, I bet that these peaks here line pretty close to where we are sitting at right now. Yep. Yes, indeed they are. And then so that gives you some more insight as to exactly what price action may do here. Look how many times price action came up to this area and had a rejection of that area in the past. What, 2014 was this one, and we are testing 2017 here. So in the past 3 years, every time price action has gotten up into this area right here, it has rejected this upward area of price. Let's see here. So what you can do is to block off zones, you can do something like this. Now you have to be a little more careful because you do end up running into a lot of overlap when doing this, but basically what I've done is I've kind of encompassed some of these peaks here and up into these peaks here to give you an idea of the actual zone that this could have reactions to, instead of just a single line in the sand like we've drawn with these black ones. So now that we've had a strong push upwards and it's come up here and it's bounced into this zone right here, and we're getting this red green choppiness, this was most likely not retail trading that created this massive candle. This was probably a bank push, and so even though the banks move markets, big candles like this typically when they move price action, it's in bursts, and so they don't typically move it a massive candle and then massive candle, and continue to do that. And so usually these are kind of isolated events where, for whatever reason, there was a lot of bank action happening here, driving price up very quickly, but now it's starting to weaken heavily because it is moved up so far and is running into so much overhead resistance at this point. And so it would be very surprising if it breaks up above this area. More than likely is going to bounce off this area and start to trickle its way downward some. But of course, I mean, it could happen. It's definitely possible. Nothing is for certain when it comes to trading in any market. Let's see here. So we picked up a short signal there. I don't know if we were able. Yep, we barely squeezed out take profit there. I mean, it's possible we could get some more downward movement over here, so it may not be barely squeezed out. But as far as what we can see, it barely squeezed out a win on that one. All right. Getting close to the end of the year now. Like I said, it rejected this area up here. It then slowly trickled its way down, made its way back down to this area that it's bounced off of a few times now. And so it's starting to have a reaction to that area through another long signal right here. Which got us to take profit, so that was good. And there it threw a short signal. Was on that one. That was not a great signal. Ends up stopping us out. Then, oh, actually, I overshot the year. So that one will cancel out. This one was still in December. All right, there we go. Overshot the year just a little bit there. Okay, so there we have it. That's what we're looking at. So, let's see. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. And so 14 signals all together, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wins. So unfortunately, that is not going to meet the 60% criteria. And so, yeah, this indicator, I mean, all in all, it's, it wasn't horrible, but it really seemed like it was giving signals at the worst possible times. It seemed like almost every time it threw a signal, it was right as a major pullback was taking place. And so sometimes you get indicators that the timing is just off minutely, to where it lands where it's throwing a signal right as um, price action is wanting to have a pullback after a decent little move. And so this one definitely had that feeling. So it's going to go on the no list, and yeah, I wish it would have done better. Just for the sake of looking at things, um, what is interesting to do sometimes is to go back. I was in 2017 there. I marked off these lines of support and resistance. And now if we start to go back, if we start to scroll back into the future, we can see how those areas of support and resistance have played significant areas where price action has had reactions to them going forward in the future. And so that is the power of going back and marking off these areas of support and resistance back here in the past, and how they can play a role in your future analysis of trading. So just something interesting to do. So all right, this video is getting a little long, so I'm going to cut it here. Like I said, this indicator is going on the no list, and we will move on to the next indicator from here.
If you have not already, like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell notification so that way you are notified anytime I post a new video. As part of the team, it's important that you are seeing the new videos as they come out so you know what it is that we are discussing and what indicators we are testing, have tested, and have not tested. Also, like usual, there is a link below in the description to the Discord server. You can join us on Discord so that way we can further discuss the indicators and have discussions as we move forward building our trading system. And lastly, like usual, there is a link below to TradingView. If you like what you see whenever I use TradingView and you are interested in signing up for TradingView, if you use the link below and sign up for a paid account, you will save a little bit of money. So, all right, everybody, I will see you.